Right, thanks for joining me. Let's just start off with the dollar index. Now, this dollar has been pushing up. At the moment, markets are happy for this to be moving up. Uh, there's no sell signal in the indices. We'll talk about those in a minute specifically, but with all this dollar pressure, gold is still holding up, made new highs today, and even the oil looks as if it could hold $70 today. So, year-end prediction, obviously we're very close to the election now. If this continues to the upside, we are going to go back to 23 highs up there. Now you can see we've got a major congestion this 104. So the big proviso is on this 104, big proviso for this 20 end of year target, 24 end of year target is that we can break above 105. All right, so we had a big push back end of 23, turned around in early November. So if we get through 104 and subsequently get through 105, then I don't have any problem with that reaching 107 pretty quick. And we could even go to 109. So looking for further upside in the dollar, gold. So despite that strong, normally if you've got a strong dollar in a normal healthy relationship, you have a strong dollar, and normally something like gold would suffer. So an inverse relationship. Now it's converse. So assuming we can close above this channel, top of this channel, and hold 27.50, with currently 27.25, then I would look for 29.30 year end. Any close under 2700, then expect this to fall at least back into that channel at 25.50 and lower. But so what happens around this point here is crucial. If we can close above this channel at 27.50, then I see 29.30 approaching year end. So that's the proviso on that one. Oil. I'm looking for oil to hold here. Started, we had a higher close here on the Thursday, and then we just dipped into the weekend and stopped me out at the just under 69. I'm going to start buying, if we can hold here, I'm going to start buying 69 tomorrow, and then to see if we can get into, there's a gap fill up here at 75. So on the Friday 11th, we closed up there at 74.90. We gapped down and we didn't close that gap. So we started that week on the 14th, last week at 74.40. So I'm looking for the oil to close that gap. Again, got to hold 70. And if we hold the 70, I'll be buying 69, stop underneath Friday's low to see if we can go and close that gap at 75 on the oil. And let's have a look at come on, let's have a look at the currencies. Pound looking lower. I think this is sellable. I need to pull back into 130, stop above 130.70. This is in line with what I just said about the dollar. I think this pound's just going to continue lower. I think we've broken the structure, broken support, closing underneath this July highs. I'm looking for this to really fall back, potentially down there at 125. Any again, as you the proviso is keep selling highs at this stage unless we close above that 130.50, then back up, back off. All right, so we've got the euro. Not a lot of data this week. Um, Services data on Thursday, core durable goods on Friday. Otherwise, we're pretty quiet. Earnings wise, we've got Tesla and Boeing on Wednesday. They're the big ones this week. So same with the euro. If we break this 108, expect this to fall right back to 106 and maybe more. We could go into a year-end target for me will be 104 on that one. Let's just look at a few commodities. Wheat. Now, something like wheat is battling with that strong dollar. Ever since I suggested if you were holding wheat and wanted to get out, bail out, 620 was the place to get out. Currently under 590. If we don't get back above $6 in the next 24, 48 hours, I think this one could tumble down lower as well. Easily come down to 520, and if we don't hold 460. If we come back to this 570 and hold, and if you want to trade the wheat, I would be patient, wait and see if we get to 570 and hold, and then get a higher close on volume at 570, and then buy and expect 650 plus. But if we close under that 570, then this is toast. This is going to come right back to under the $5 and potentially lower. I'm still bullish. Overall, I'm still bullish this one, but it's very fragile and it's got to get above that $6 in the next 48 hours. Right, stocks. Let's go to the hot list. Let's start with telecoms. So we've got BT. Recently saw 152, saw that in late September. We're above all the averages, so any dip into 140, 143, I think is still buyable. And then, of course, we'd have to break above this recent high. And then we could see 157 plus. If that's a bull flag, then these dips are viable, and 140 is your pullback. Let's look at Vodafone. Vodafone was recently 76. That's still viable at 74, as long as we don't close under 72. Close under 72, then walk away and leave it. Let's look at oil stocks, BP, continuing to climb up. So with a big push late September, dipped here mid-October, looking like we could come and see 430 plus. So come out of this apex, hold 410. We should see potentially, I'd expect a year end about 485 up here in July levels. Proviso is we stay above £4. Shell, same story. As long as we hold that 25.60, we should go back close to 24 highs. Tullow, is building. And look, if we can close above 26, I think we can get potentially to 30, 33 plus on the tallow. Volume is building. These dips are getting, these areas down here are getting bought. That looks as if that could go higher. Right, out of oil into financials. Prudential is suffering, but it's holding that 50-day average. So I would only get concerned if we close on the 640. Otherwise, expect that to go to 750 plus. Let's look at one of these Barclays. A bit of a nice push on Thursday, pulling back into that. So 239 is viable. We hold 239 and break 246. We look as if we go to 250 and potentially finish the year at £3. Okay, let's look at miners. Pan African continues to wind up. So this year's low was 15. We are getting close to 40. Rothschild coming up on very decent volume. That's had a big move. So 12 months ago, it was 75, 77, pushing up. Right, let's go and find sentiment. Yeah, sentiment looks higher. Well, if we, as long as we don't close under 160, we could continue into £2. Volumes are holding up here, so that still looks higher at this stage. Just be cautious on any negative close on negative volume. Otherwise, at the moment, it looks like just stay put. Anything else you want me to look at? Yeah, typically natural gas tends to finish this around just around late October, early November, and it's all could still have a big squirt higher here, as long as we don't close underneath 980. It's still got the potential to go back to May highs. In fact, I think that's my prediction for a year end, 1095, or at least at some stage in the coming days and weeks, I think we can see that 1095 again. Um, let's look at CPI. So it's had another knock into 22 and falling back. As long as that doesn't, it looks as if we're going to see 20 again. As long as that doesn't close under 20, certainly under 18, that still looks higher. So these are recent suggestions. Direct line. I think this is okay. As long as we don't close on the 175, expect direct line to get back to £2 plus into the year end. Obviously, we've got this US election in the way. So for any reason the market gets fragile in, around, or after the US election, be warned. AMD, this looks viable down here. The chipmaker AMD. If we if you buy around here at 156 and we close above 16, then expect that to go to 18.6 and possibly higher, possibly into this March high on AMD. So that is looking good. Let's look at MSTR. Yeah, very nice. So this pullback last week, last Friday, in fact, um, into that grey, into that major support down there, suggests that could go very much higher. Appears to have a lot of volume. Anything else you want to look at? Dominoes. Yeah. This one, Burberry, before we look at Dominoes, um, very beaten up. 18 months ago, we were 24.10. We're here at just under 7. This is a potential recovery stock, potential. Um, so any pullback to 650 with a stop under £6 and see if that one can recover. Yeah, when was last week's watch? Yeah, so talked about this time last week when we were down here around the 295. So any pullback to £3, we're 307 now, and that looks like we can see 325 plus. Good cyclical stock, looks good to me. Let's uh, look at Glencore. That was a very handsome move on Friday, and we're just pulling back into that Friday support. I think Glencore's my suggestion of the week here. Because if that holds and we close above that recent high, so I think this is buyable. I think 405 is buyable. The stop under 397 and a potential to get back to £5 on Glencore. All the support down there is at 394, so it is possible it might want to come back further. That's a big push from mid-September into early October, and this looks like a corrective pattern, ready for this to push back and potentially have a good year end. Okay, no more suggestions coming in, so I'm going to leave it there. Relatively quick, 22 minutes in. Right, all right, well, have a good week and stay tuned. Markets look okay at the moment. Just be on guard. Bear in mind we've got this election coming up, but no reason to sell. Everything looks on target at the moment. I'll keep a monitor on those core levels. Thanks.